Hi guys, it's MVG, and today I'm going to go over Sephiroth's frame data and especially his hitboxes. And I'm also going to give my thoughts on what I think of each of these moves and give some other information as well. So if you're interested in my thoughts, as well as learning more about Sephiroth, this is a good video to watch. And I'm going to be linking the credits and the YouTube and the website into the YouTube description below as well. So I'm going to start off right with his moves. So jab, frame 5 move. As you can see, the move actually goes underneath his legs. So when you're looking at his kicks, it goes underneath him, especially on the first attack, but also pretty much all of them. Not much to say about this move. I mentioned before. Just the basic frame 5 jab, hit him away from you, and goes underneath. Probably to make it easier to hit short characters. They probably did this to make it easier to hit short characters. And let's go right into forward tilt. Now, forward tilt, it says it's active frame 14, 15, but it's actually 14 through 16. They just made a mistake taking over the data, as I did some prior research to find out. But to look at this move, in my opinion, this is Sephiroth's best or one of his best moves. So this is frame 14, 15, 16. And as you can see, it's most of the sword. The tip of the sword doesn't actually count. But that's like, what, like 98% of the sword, like something like that. Most of his moves, the last like 2% of the sword, like the very tip of the sword, that actually isn't a hitbox. So it's a little less than it visually appears, but it's still by far the longest like sword. So yeah, it's still fine. But yeah, this is pretty common. So as you can see, frame 14, 15, 16. This is really useful, not just, it's for a lot of reasons. One, it's just like range, and two, it like knocks down at 20, and then you can do like tech chases. And then there's also like for ledge trapping, if you think they're going to normal stand, and you stand at the right distance, you can cover get up attack, ledge roll, and normal stand. Since it's active for 3 frames, see as you can see here, like 1, 2, 3. That's extremely useful because even if you like react super fast, it still works, and if you react slow, it still works. This does not work online, however. This is specifically an offline only strategy. So this is something you can do offline. Online, you're gonna have to do more guesswork since his moves are too slow for there. That's also why Cloud's F tilt, which is like frame like 9, 10 instead of like 14 through 16. It's just barely in a good connection. Cloud can do his F tilt, but Sephiroth can't. Sephiroth can basically do the Cloud F tilt normal stand strat with this online. But yeah, so that's one of the major differences. But I think this is one of Sephiroth's best moves. It has very, very massive range. Like, look at this, dude. This is basically a projectile. This is insane range. Crazy move. And he can angle it in different ways. I find the down one. I actually don't use the down one. If a boost running down tilt, running F tilt down, this could be useful. But it's tricky muscle memory. You just like run and you do the sliding F tilt where you like do a skid animation backwards and then do the F tilt, but doing it angled down, I always mess up and do the straight one by accident. But that could theoretically be good at certain spacings after knocking them down at like low percent. And then there's the up tilt, this one. I think this is really good around the ledge. Like if you think they're gonna like jump off the ledge and they're at like 90%, like you're standing space and you're like, okay, I think they're gonna ledge jump. The angled up is generally better than forward for that situation because, and you can use the control stick for this. So the angled up is really good because a lot of the time, you know, they're jumping, so they're always in this position anyway. It also hits a little bit harder as well. So it's just like, you have a bigger window to catch most characters. It hits tall characters' normal stands anyway, and it's just really good to like hit them out of the air. There's also like, it also combos if like you do landing there and then hit that, it can work. But yeah, crazy move. You can angle it 3 ways. I usually use the straight one, but they can all be useful in different scenarios as I just explained. Up tilt. This has about the same range as Snake's. It's actually slightly less. Contrary to Twitter actually showed a picture where Snake's up tilt was seeming to have less range, but it's actually not true. In the example where I'm sure you saw that on Twitter, where the Sephiroth was up tilting, Sephiroth was up tilting, and then the Snake was up tilting, and it seemed like Sephiroth's had more range, but it actually doesn't. Snake was still leaning over. I tested this extensively, and Snake's actually does have more range if they're both in a standing spot. That's beside the point. This is a frame 10 move right here, and then it goes, and then it's frame 13, and then for a billion other frames, it's like up in the air here. As you can see, it's still most of the sword. So that's I'm not sure where to use this. That's like you can do up throw nair combos. I didn't know about up throw nair when I made my first guide. When I made my first guide, I didn't know about up throw nair, but you can do up throw up tilt against like a big amount of the cast at 0 low percent. Especially works if they DI in. I still think that's pretty good. Not sure if that or up throw nair is better when they both work. This could also be good if you're like near the ledge. Let's say they're at like 110. You think they're gonna ledge jump, but you're not sure when. Well, if you know they're gonna jump, but you're not sure when they're gonna jump, you can use this because it lingers for a long time. So like based on the data, if you like, it's like okay, if you know they're gonna jump right away, you could just hit them with a hard move, right? like a back air F tilt angled up, right? But if you're like, okay, I know they're going to jump, I just don't know when they're going to jump, then maybe something like this would be good. You have the small chance to scoop him there, and then you can do that. Or I'm not really sure the best uses yet. Let me know in the comments below what you think the best uses for that is. But yeah, that's some interesting things here. Also, I want to explain more things before I get off topic. As you can see here, the sword as Sakurai said, for most sword moves like the slashes, there's 3 hitboxes. The close range is the weakest. The tipper is the second strongest, is like the middle power, and the center is by far the strongest. So if you get the center hit, you're hitting them the hardest by far. So you basically want to space your sword, but you get a bigger reward if it's not fully spaced. They probably did that because, like, if it was fully spaced reward, imagine, like, melee Marth, but even a longer sword, where it's like, okay, well, that might even be better. So that maybe was, like, a balance thing, not sure. But yeah. As you can see, like, of a lot of different moves. But for stabby moves, this is like a stab move, right? So for a move like this, that's to scoop him up, and then these 2 purple things are basically the same thing. But then this is like the tipper hit, and the tipper hit's the strongest one. And then the other ones are just a weaker hit. But they're all still pretty strong. They kill at like low hundreds. And then here's the down tilt. I have a lot to say about this one. So this is basically a slower cloud down tilt. It starts on frame 9, so check this out. I have a lot to say here. So analyze these hitboxes. Look where these moves are relative to Cloud. See, like, compare this to like the weight of Cloud. See, this is Cloud's hurtbox on his leg. So as you can see, since he has the one leg that's lower, the first hitbox here actually goes lower. So it's if you're closer to the opponent, let's say the opponent's on the ledge, if you're closer to the opponent, it's more likely to get the strong hit. Also, in addition to that, this is the first half of the move, where it's like really strong, and then it's now the weak hits. And the weak hits near the end, it's, as you notice, the hitboxes get smaller by a lot. See, look at this red. It completely overlaps this the white here. But look, now the white's bigger than the purple. And it's the same type of thing. They just all got smaller. So there's actually 4 different versions of the move. The red is the stronger hitting ones, and the purple is the weaker hitting ones. But then there's also, based on the distances, it is basically showing that, like, if you down tilt somebody at close range at the ledge, you're more likely to hit them, and the tipper is less likely. If you hit at the end, for some characters who are unfortunate enough that you can't go as low, for example, like Bowser, for example, you hit him with the down tilt on the ledge at the very end. You can actually hit at the very end of even these purple hits. I think even the last one, because he hangs up over the ledge so much. And then you can combo it to a forward air. But there's other characters who, like, you're only able to hit this version. So this is only one of 4 that can work on certain characters. Like, maybe if you're fighting like Sephiroth vs. Cloud, you have to be super close. Only the first red will hit out of the 4. But then on someone like Bowser, all four of them will work because he doesn't hang as low from the ledge. And stuff like that can be just useful to understand because that's going to be matchup specific for Sephiroth. Sephiroth will have to know, okay, how can I get the most out of this? Like, if I think they're going to wait on the ledge a lot, depending on the matchup, you might get a lower hit or not. Sometimes, and for some reason, like when I'm hitting, sometimes this even hits like Palutena's up B teleport to ledge, and sometimes it misses. So yeah, this actually goes lower than Cloud's down tilt. I don't think it's better overall in Cloud's, because Cloud's actually starts faster and ends sooner, and Cloud's is more likely to combo or frame trap, where Sephiroth's is better than Cloud's for hitting a 2-frame. Cloud's is more useful in an actual fight on stage, whereas Sephiroth's is more likely to land a 2-frame because it goes lower. So that's pretty much my thoughts on that, and it's going to be very matchup specific depending on how low they hang from the ledge. So that info should help you if you're a Sephiroth player. Then you have dash attack. People say compare this to Mewtwo's. Well, I want to mention that Mewtwo's is active frames 10 through 20, I believe, and the strong hit is only like at the very, very, very beginning. Sephiroth's is a little interesting. Check out Sephiroth's out. So this is Sephiroth doing his dash. Now watch. Look how far he's lunging. Look how far this is. So compare this from his starting position. Look, he's already over here. Now look how far he lunges with the hitbox. So, see, now he's already over here. There's a big ball of energy way in front of his hand. So he actually dashes quite a big distance and gets a hitbox out in front of him for quite the distance. And in this move, interestingly enough, you're almost always going to get that strong hit. So I think this comes around, what frames? Like 13, 14? It's like 14. So let's talk more about this. So frame 14, 15, and then 16, 17, 18, 19. And that, you would think it's easier to get the weak hit, but it's more, in my experience, you get the strong hit way more. This move is pretty good. I do it in a lot of scenarios after I knock someone down. Sometimes I'm close enough that I can dash attack, and sometimes I'm not. Like, sometimes I can like F-tilt them on the ground, they miss tech, I dash attack. If they're at certain spacings, if they're really far away, then it usually misses. But most of the time it works. Same with hitting them over on the ground with like a back air or forward air. Usually it works. It doesn't work every time. Same with forward throw. If you forward throw them really fast, especially online because they're going to miss the tech online, you just forward throw them, run up, and do the dash attack. I have a theory that like doing running F-tilt angled down at very specific distances is the more optimal play. But that's a lot more execution heavy, and dash attack is usually the go-to in the majority of situations and what I recommend to do most of the time. So yeah, dash attack's pretty good move. I actually like it. It's about the same strength as F-tilt, but it's like it sends at a higher angle. So usually if they're at like low hundreds, it can kill. If you have some rage and you hit them at the low hundreds, it can usually kill then. It's like a stronger Mewtwo dash attack, I think. I didn't see if it was strong or not, but I was testing it out. Then you have forward smash. Forward smash. It comes out on frame 24. So right here. And for some weird reason, the next frame lingers here, and that's as an after image. I'm not sure if that's intended or not. It may or may not be. I'm like 50-50 on it. But as you can see, there's like this part, for some reason, I guess they just wanted... I feel like they just wanted to make sure that like if you're close to Sephiroth or mid-distance, they probably just wanted to make sure that Sephiroth got his like strong hits here. They wanted to make sure this is more likely to land, I guess, on maybe like a short character or something. That's probably what they're doing. They probably know, okay, people are tired of attacks missing because of short characters, so that's why probably things like jabs and grabs in this move probably goes extra low. Also, that's also because like look how it scoops here. There's no hitbox, but look, if you look at the way the sword goes, this actually kind of makes sense that they would code it like this. Because it actually does sweep from that way. And then it's here. And that's kind of... I think that's in, like... Not sure, but I think that's in, like, the 3D. It doesn't seem like... Because if they're on, like, the side platform, like Battlefield or Pokemon and stuff, it generally, like, always misses. So it doesn't, like, hit on platforms. But yeah, this move is really, really strong. It's one of Sephiroth's strongest moves. I believe it's the second strongest after the Giga Flare. So when you want to get this juicy part... Ideally, I mean, spacing it's good too, because if you space it, then you know you're far away from the opponent with a long sword. But in terms of shield stun and every other thing, damage and all that knockback, this area is the one you want to hit. So it can be pretty laggy though, unless you have the wings on. Then you can actually get punished a lot for that. So keep that in mind. This one's 1 frame slower. This is the up smash. This is frame 23, and as you can see, it doesn't reach very low to the ground. In fact, this move has kind of like a lot of blind spots. Like, unlike Ganon and Ike's, in my experience, Sephiroth's up smash does, it has a lot of blind spots on it, and like a short character who's like right next to him. Like, there are times I've caught people like, oh, I caught their landing, and then up smash, and they just like, maybe their landing animation or something, it just misses, and it's like, that's weird. I guess it's because they're too short or something. Sometimes I tested with Cloud ducking next to Sephiroth, and a lot of the times the sword missed with this move. So anyway, frame 23 here. As you can see, the middle part is the strongest, like most moves that aren't stabs. 24, 25, and then frame 26 is weird because look, and there it is magically that for no reason. I guess they just really want to make sure he catches people. They just really wanted to make sure he has an extra high chance of catching people above him. So like they kind of like made an after image here. They just really wanted to make sure that he gets the people above him. So it's like 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and then it ends. As you can see, look from his height, a lot of characters who are small, they can miss there. But it's really good in most situations, and a lot of characters are just being too tall to avoid it. But yeah, just mentioning that because that's scenarios I've ran into myself. Then we have down smash. This is if you hit the grounds. Now, I do want to mention this is different from in the air. This is his fastest smash attack. This comes out in frame 21. Whoops, I glitched it. Anyway, ignore that back part. This is frame 21, 22, and 23, which means it lingers for 3 frames, just like F-tilt, which means if you could hard read like a ledge stand or something. Like the fact that it lingers there, it gives you a few extra frames if you're going to hit like a ledge option, or if you're trying to 2-frame somebody. I haven't really successfully gotten this on 2-frame very often, but it can be good if they're camping on the ledge and you know they re-grab the ledge and then they want to plank you, which is like camp on the ledge and then re-grab the ledge again. You can charge down smash and release it when you see them go back to the ledge. Or you can just try to get the 3-frame, 2-frame window. But yeah, it lingers here. If it as you can see, this is the reason it does so much shield damage. I think the reason it does so much shield damage is because of this area. You want to hit with this area of the sword to do major damage. And it actually has to hit the ground, which means that like if you're standing near the very edge and the sword actually misses the ground because you're too close to the ledge, then you won't get the big shield damage there. That's a rare scenario, but just mentioning it. But yeah, if you hit any with this area, it does massive shield damage, especially when you have the wing on your back. Tons of damage. So that's the hitbox for that. And if you don't hit the ground, it's the same thing, but it's a little different. So it's still frame 21, but look, 21, 20. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Okay, I don't know why it's glitching, but I will mention that it's active for one less. According to this site, it's active for one less frame. But notably, if you just analyze it here, you see that there's it's just low. There's no little giant area over here. So that's another thing to mention. Then we have his aerial attacks. Now, for some reason, I didn't think this move was great at first, but you know. I have reasons for this. Now, I do want to mention that I now want to go back, and now my new opinion is that the move is good, but I don't think it's as good as everyone else says, but I'll explain, but I do think it's a lot better than my prior opinion to the move. So this move comes out on frame 9. Apparently, according to the people I talked to, it's really good online. So it lingers here, and look, this hitbox is really nice. So it lingers 9 and 10. But then if you were to compare it to like Greninja starts on 12. Which means it's like, okay, well, that's 3 frames worse. So Sephiroth is better because it's 3 frames faster. And they both have low landing lag. It's like frame 7 versus frame 9. Sephiroth has a bit more landing lag, but they both can do like nair into spot dodge against like Mario trying to shield grab and stuff. But anyway, this is frame 9 and 10. Look, this is massive, right? But then it doesn't linger and protect him. So if he's like above the opponent getting juggled, he's still going to have to, like, he can't really use this to land. But I guess the total time's not that much because it's only 33 frames. The best use of this move is, like, against a lot of characters that don't have, like, a fast up to shield, you just nair on them. And then, well, you just nair on them. And unless it's, like, a character with a fast up to shield or fast nair to shield, you can usually just nair spot dodge, for example, and avoid a shield grab if you think, like, Mario or Lucina or someone's going to try to shield grab you or something. It can dodge all of the shield grabs. So that's really nice. But this move's really good at the low percents for the combos. You can do up throw nair. You can do landing nair. You can just jump nair and then try to hit them with a second aerial, like nair to fair. It doesn't like, if you're doing landing nair, then it true combos into fair. Sometimes true combos into bear, depending on their DI percent and matchup. But even when it doesn't true combo, it'll only barely not work, which means you still have huge frame advantage and positioning, like frame trapping them. So like let's say you do nair to fair, right? And they barely air dodge the fair because it just barely doesn't true combo and they tried to buffer air dodge out. Well, you barely missed, but you have a huge positional advantage to chase them and still hold an advantage state over them with pressure and frame traps and stuff. So it can still be really good in those scenarios. So yeah, the move is pretty good. I don't think it's highly of it as others, but I still think it's a lot better than I said in my first guide because now I'm more educated on the move. So very good hitbox. It only lingers for 2 frames. Very good for comboing. And when you have the wing on your back, since you have good movement and air mobility and extra jump, it's really, really good with the wing on your back because you can really chase with it. It's also its best out of shield. It comes out on... Since it's a frame 9 move, that means out of shield is frame 12. That's a pretty bad out of shield, but that's a weakness of the character. If this character had like a good up out of shield, he'd be like really broken. So this is still like a needed move for him. Then we have forward air. This move is crazy good. So this is a little stabby move. And as I said, like all stabby moves, the tip of it is the strongest. But unlike other moves, this move lingers longer than you think. So this is frame 13 startup. So this is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's interesting because the first 2 frames is like the hitbox is bigger, but then it's still existing for this time. So what I like to do is I like to fair and then fast fall. Or like short hop fair and then I like to jump fair and fast fall, or short hop fair and fast fall. And that can it can hit some characters. Even some characters when they're ducking can even hit. So it makes it more likely to hit. Also, if their shield is damaged, it can hit them when their shield is damaged too. Like if let's say you back their shield once, or you bring their shield down a bit, right? And now their shield is a small bubble and it doesn't protect their head. If you do like sure hot fair fair over their head, or sure hot fair over their head and then fast fall, this skinny hitbox actually works out well because it's likely to one of the frames will hit their head without hitting their shield, so a shield poke them, and that's nice. So Sephiroth really does well on damaging a shield. He doesn't necessarily need to break your shield. You just get your shield down, and it's just a really good situation for him. So yeah. Again, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's pretty darn good. Now the back air, this is the much slower move. It's frame 15, and it only lingers for 2 frames, 15, 16. And as you can see, they really wanted to make it so you got this nice, juicy, giant sweet spot here. So they made this part extra big. And they probably did it like a little bit overhead because, like, look where he's swinging the swords from. It's like this type of swing, so they tried to make it accommodate. Makes a lot of sense. It's, as you can see, it doesn't go the full range of the sword. So that may be why, like if you just look at the sword itself, it's like, oh, that's extra broken. But then you got to remember the last, like, 5% of the sword for this move doesn't count. It's different per move, but on this move, the last 5% of the sword doesn't count. It's still a really, really ridiculously good move. Just remember that the edge doesn't count. And yeah, this is the strongest part. This is the second strongest, and this is the third strongest. So yeah, this move is really, really good for shield damage, especially when you have the wing on your back. Amazing shield damage. And also, forward air and back air, they're better offline moves because you can be more precise. Online, it's kind of harder to position yourself because there's more input delay. But going to be really, really good moves offline. And then you have up air. This is his up air. Frame 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 21. And then I think for this move, yeah, it's the middle hit, the middle circles that are the strong ones. So you want to try to land those, and it goes even more range behind him. It kind of looks funny. This move goes more behind him than most back airs go behind. Like most swordsman back airs don't go as far as Sephiroth's up air goes behind him. Now Sephiroth's back air still goes more behind him than his up air, but his up air covers a higher arc. I do want to mention some things about this move is that if you full hop up air, no matter what, you're gonna have landing lag. In fact, if you double jump up air and then fast fall right away, you'll still have landing lag. So the main use for this move is like you hit them and get the position, or if you're just trying to get a hit on them, but you're not going to actually get there's no combo off the up air. Even if you do the fast fall up air, and no matter what the matchup is, there is no true combo. There's no true hit stun combo from this because the landing lag is so massive. But it's really good because like just the range. Like look at this range. As I said, it's not the whole sword, but it's pretty darn good. As you can see, it's pretty darn good. Covers a lot of different ranges. This is his downer. When you're way in the sky, this is frame 19. So frame 19 here. And then 20, 21, so on. And it just lingers here for a while. These moves are the strong hit. So at the beginning, as you can see, 19 through 23. For 5 frames. This all spikes, by the way. And when it's on the ground, it's a strong hit. So that's pretty nice. It goes way below him as it should. And then it lingers here for a while when you're falling in the air. It's not the whole time, so if you're super high, it won't be the whole time, but it's nice there for a while. And then this one's interesting. This is the landing hitbox. So this looks broken at first, but then you realize it only lingers for 1 frame. So if you're just looking at this as a picture, you're like, wow, this is really OP. But then it's like you go to the next frame, it's like, oh, it goes away. So this is going to be really good against recoveries who are like, they have to hover in that spot for a long time. Like as I said, like DK and Bowser come to mind because they have to stay in that spot for a long time. Like if they try to stay horizontal, they get countered. You just run off and counter. But then if they're scared of the counter, they go extra low to avoid it, and then you have a chance of hitting them with this. So like that's just like one example. So there's the landing hitbox, and then there's that, and then the landing hitbox. I think it lingers frame 1, 2. The landing hitbox is for 2 frames, and this is for 1. And this part spikes. It's very satisfying to land. Kind of requires some guesswork and when you're going to hit them. Then you have Neutral B Flare. This is the uncharged one. This move sucks and will never hit anybody. The soonest you can throw it is frame 41. Oh, it actually gets bigger over time. I didn't even realize that. I guess there's no reason to know that, though. But yeah, this move, you're never going to hit anybody with that. Just throw this move in the trash. But Mega Flare, much better. If you're charging the move for more than 30 frames, you can get up to this move, which is faster and does much more damage and can actually kill. I don't think this move is particularly good offline, but online I think this move can be good. And obviously, you know, for ledge trapping, because you can cancel it at any time, so you don't have to commit to it, but you can threaten the existence of it. This move has a 130 frame startup, and then this is Giga Flare, small energy ball. You recover I think you recover 1 frame before this explosion. So this move is active for 20 frames and lingers at the ledge. Really, really, really good because you can use it to ledge trap people. And this move can also kill at 0%. If you break their shield, you dash them to the ledge, and then you just charge the forward smash, and then it can just kill them. Side B. This move comes out on frame 16. All you can charge it, and you can actually charge it. It shoots a little beam. This has more range than even your F tilt, and more range than your forward smash, even uncharged. And then this is the max range, so you can just see the distances here. This is max, and this is the short one. So short and max, basically this one puts 3 pellets around you, and also it travels faster in this with the same amount of lag. And you have the up B, where you dash through somebody. It's a nice little hitbox that is mostly used to reposition. It does usually like 7 to 10 damage in fights usually, but this actually is a respectable hitbox. It doesn't, if you're hitting them from a distance, like this is good for when it lasts, but then like if you're spaced out at them, there's no hitbox near the last like 30, the last like 25% of the distance it travels. There's no hitbox. Like he's still traveling forward when that red part ends. So just keep that in mind. Not the entire dash counts as a hitbox, but more than half of it counts as a hitbox, but not the entire thing. So just keep that in mind. But it's pretty good for what it does because you can use it to reposition. It's good both online and offline, just to reposition. You can be tricky with it when they're not expecting it. If you don't like the position you're in, you can just do that or just try to catch them off guard. And then you have Octaslash, where you have a bunch of different hits. Now this is active every other frame, starting on 36. So it's like this. Now this move is very impressive right here. It's like this. Interestingly enough, it's a lot smaller than the axe or sword. I wonder why they did that. Which is interesting because like look at the sword. Now look at this move. Now this is a little surprising to me because whenever I use this move, I feel like I'm just completely protected from anything until like the move ends and then I have lag. But when I actually look at it next to the sword, it looks like really bad. Speaking of this, Sephiroth is doing this. This is every 1/65 of a second. Look how fast he's moving, dude. He's doing 30. If he was to not stop at 8 slashes, he would be doing 30 slashes per second. How fast and strong do you have to be in order to like move your body like this? It is actually crazy, but yeah. And that's the 8 slashes. I guess they wanted the last one. It just forces a straight line in front of him. So it's really just like, even though it goes crazy, it's always a line in front of him like this. And then the last one, of course, is bigger because they want it less likely to miss. They usually make the last hitboxes bigger to make sure moves combo more consistently. And then you have the down B. Right here, as you can see, this is the actual... Because when you counter, if you don't counter anything, he throws like a projectile out after like 38 frames or so. So this is counter, and this is a missed counter. This is the hit detection, and then he automatically throws this out. It's a little different from other counters. And you have this down B here. This is just the hit detection. And like this is like, okay, it looks broken when you look at a hitbox, but it's like, okay, he successfully countered a move, and the game wants to make sure you hit a counter attack. This looks like it's good when you look at the hitboxes, but in matches, sometimes like I'll counter like Cloud's up B, or just like I'll counter somebody's recovery, and it'll hit them with like one of the multi-hits, right? It'll hit them with a multi-hit, and they'll just fall out of the multi-hit. And then, like, usually it works. Usually it works, and usually it kills them. But sometimes they literally just get hit by, like, the edge of it, like the bottom edge of it, like down here. And then they just fall out of the move. And I'm like, why is this happening? It's just weird. I actually hope Nintendo patches this and fixes this. Nintendo, if you're watching, fix his counter multi-hits so that it actually connects fully like intended. Then the grab is the main thing. I don't need to really go over the throws, but people talk about his bad grab. When you look at it from this hitbox, it doesn't look that bad, but I guess it's because you got to remember when in this game, like your characters, they push each other's bodies, and there's like that variable as well. It doesn't look as bad here. as I said, it's like the same range as like his hand, or like almost the exact same range as his hands, maybe like a millimeter less or something, or the same. And it goes way under him, so I can grab short characters more. But it doesn't look so bad here, but it matches a lot, I'll tell you. So there are times it looks like he should totally be grabbing somebody, and then it just doesn't work. I guess it's also because, like, look at how he's not extending his arm. Like, he could be, like, extending his arm, like, outwards, but he's just bending his arm like this. Like, he's doing that. He's not really, like, reaching out for you. So it also, the way he uses his arm, he doesn't get the most like range out of it. So his grab is one of the worst parts about him. And then the throws is just when you that's only, this is only if you care about like doubles, like it just shows how you would do that. By the way, back throw is a pretty good move. I'm going to mention more of that in other videos. My first impression, I didn't realize it comboed so easily. So my first instinctual impression was wrong. So here to correct that, and I will in other videos. But yeah, back throw combo's pretty good, but these are the hitboxes on that stuff. The throws don't really matter as much. The frame 7 grab, it's 1 frame slower than the fastest grabs, like Mario Lucy and stuff is like frame 6. There's nothing faster than 6. So it's just, I would say it's an above average speed grab. Still a lot better than Cloud's grab. But they both have the same range, but 12 units. Dash grab, frame 10, nothing special, just standard. And pivot grab, nothing special about it. You're pretty much never really going to use that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much Sephiroth's frame data. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something. And before you guys go, I host a once-a-month tournament series, Smash.gg, so that's FPS Online. I really hope you guys check it out. I'm very passionate about this, and it would help me out if you did check it out. That'll be in the YouTube description. If you're interested in coaching from me, you could check out my Medify page. Just check the YouTube description. Pretty much everything will be in YouTube description. So definitely check that out if you're interested in any of these things I said or even other things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Leave a comment what your thoughts were on Sephiroth's moves and any future videos you guys want. And I'll see you guys later.